Okay, somebody wanted me to talk about implants, and I'm not talking about tooth implants in your jaw. I'm talking about the kind of implants that people say happen from perhaps extraterrestrials. And some people have said, well, there's dark extraterrestrials that put implants in you, and there's also benevolent extraterrestrials that put implants in you. I'm of the opinion I don't want anybody to put implants in me at all. In fact, I'm not pleased that when I was a child that the dentist drilled and put in um, different kinds of fillings in my teeth because my family was of the opinion that the dentists were lying and were drilling just so that they could send us bills. So, do I trust dentists? No. Who do I trust? No one. Just like the X-Files, trust no one. Now, why would they put implants in you? To control you, to know what's going on. I mean, why would benevolent ETs put implants in you? I can't figure out why any benevolent being would put an implant in you. To counter the darkness or something, the dark benevolence, we're going to put a light one in you? No, I don't want anybody's damn implants. What is the nature of an implant in you? Well, I really haven't. I wanted to do a video first before I listen to any um, YouTube ideas of what implants were all about, to try and give you something that wasn't contaminated, other than the fact that I heard about these implants before. I have to choose a reality box to work within. I mean, if you are still in the reality box that we are biological, physical organisms, then the implant would be some kind of something that interfaces with biology. If you consider the Matrix analogy, then everything in the Matrix is like a digital hologram, and somehow your awareness is associated with a body. And if you think of, well, I should see, I'm contaminated. I was going to tell you about that Netflix series Sense8, where people were able to experience other people's bodies, in other people's lives. So, other than being a physical, biological, or a matrix hologram, what else could we be? Well, we could just be awareness and, be living in a sea of thought forms. And so you've got a thought form that you normally call your body, and someone has put another thought form in called an implant into you. Did they cause disease? I think they do. There was something I read, it might have been Ray Kurzweil's, that talked about the possibility of an artificial intelligence that could possibly kill off all organic life and just convert the energy and the biological life to something else, and basically ruin the world in the matter of a day or something. Nightmare scenarios, but it was written about. I listened to somebody, it was Corey Good, he was talking about reptilian Dracos who were infested with nanites. Nanites was a word that they used on Star Trek The Next Generation to talk about um, kind of robotic android things. I think nanite means nano, so very, very tiny robots that, apparently, according to Corey Good, infest Draco reptilians. He said Draco reptilians on their ships bathe in radiation. So if you imagine taking a bunch of nuclear waste from a nuclear power plant, putting it on board a ship, and then that's where the Draco reptilians like to live. That seems impossible, whatever kind of life they are. If they're biological, then, they used to say after a nuclear war, maybe only rats and cockroaches could live. But um, maybe the cockroach has got a very. They say that there's certain microorganisms that can live under high radiation. But I think a rat would be like a human. It wouldn't under high radiation it wouldn't live. And the insect, even the insect, it doesn't make much sense to me. It should be susceptible to high intensity radiation. So I think maybe somebody's just fooling about that. As to whether do humans have implants, well, how would you know? On an MRI, would they show up if they were like uh, nano in scale? A nano is like I can't even remember how small it is. It's not. It's like you'd have to use electron microscope to see something like that. And how would you recognize it? How would they get it into you? Well, something that small. Perhaps they just put it in your food or your water. Or the thing I was thinking about earlier was back to Star Trek. Maybe they used a transporter beam and they transported or beamed it into your body. There was one episode of the original Star Trek where Scotty was afraid to use the transporter because um, the coordinates that were given to him, he said, would send you into the rock of the planet. So he was afraid to send somebody into the rock of the planet. But so you can beam, like something into solid rock if you follow that analogy. So I guess you could beam implants into people's bodies if you use those transporters. Why would it come up now? Well, it just seems like, I don't know, YouTube is full of all kinds of kooky things that we never thought about when we were young, because, even those tooth implants weren't invented in those days, but implants were there. Well, when I was young, I don't think there was even hip implants. You could get like, if somebody had badly broken bones, then they would use like steel screws to screw together the bones. So I guess that would be the closest thing to an implant in those days. Hair implants were invented. Hmm. So, what good would they be? How would they control you? Or what would they do inside of you? Some episodes of Star Trek, they used gizmos that would, by remote control, give you pain. That's all I got.